Okay, Be'ezat Hashem, Naaseh v'Natzliach. I want to welcome you to the Beacon Tower Lunch and Learn, as we are here at the H&M headquarters, giving our classes of Parashat HaShavua and Parashat Tazria. I'd like to give an honorable mention to our sponsors, Mendel Law, Judah Mendel, for making this possible, for Joseph Dornbush and the Dornbush family for making this possible and for the use of the space, and as well as for Be'ezat Hashem shevech otchem v'samech otchem, give you all your heart's desires of Tovah, B'sorot Tovot, and Be'ezat Hashem you go ma'ala ma'ala in Avodat Hashem. Also, would like to give an honorable mention to Hummus Factory for every single week giving us beautiful fresh food, delicious food. This week they give us even a little bit something extra. Shashem varech otam v'samech otam. Also give them continued success in their business and in their new locations. And Be'ezat Hashem also, may this be to the refuah shelema of
Altelea Bat Chava.
Altelea Bat Chava and to Kol Klal Cholam Yisrael. Okay, let's get started. Okay, they want to get started with L'chaim. Good way to start. Let's do it. So here we are. We're in Sefer Vayikra. We're in the first beginning parashiot. We just finished Parashat Shemini that dealt with all the kosher animals and with the death of Nadav and Avihu. And this week's parasha is Parashat Tazria. And Parashat Tazria deals with three important concepts, three interesting concepts, and it's interesting why they're grouped together in this week's parasha. The parasha begins like this: "Vaydaber Hashem Moshe lemor, daber el bnei Yisrael lemor, isha ki tazria, ve'yalda zachar, v'tem'a shivat yamim, ki men nidat devota titma." So here we have a scenario that we have a woman who got pregnant. She has a boy. After she has a boy, she becomes spiritually impure, and the whole process of how she becomes pure. The next pasuk talks about Uvyom hashemini imol basar orlato. He says on that kid that's born, after 8 days, he's got to have a brit milah. And then when you continue, it says, פרק י"ג פסוק א', וידבר אשר משה אל אהרון לאמור, אדם כי יהיה בעור בשרו שאת או ספחת או בהרת, והיה בעור בשרו לנגע צרעת, והובא אל אהרון הכהן או אל אחד מבניו הכהנים. Talks about a scenario where a guy has lesions or some sort of leprosy on his body, and he has to go now see Aharon HaKohen in order to get these skin lesions off of his body. So we have a woman who gets pregnant in her tumah. We have the Brit Milah of a boy, and then we have a guy who got himself into a situation where he has some sort of skin discoloration, and he has to go see the rabbi, the Kohen, in order to get it off. What's the connection of these three things in this week's parasha? So, Imre Noam, in the book of Imre Noam of Rav Yoram Aberjol, Zecher Tzadik Livracha, says something very interesting. He says, how does one person get a nega? What's a nega? A nega is this leprosy, this tzaraat. By the way, what's tzaraat? If you ever hear an Ashkenazi say tzaraat, you know how they say it? Saras, which sounds like what? Psoriasis. What's psoriasis? It's the drying of the skin, the drying of a person has like all this discoloration and dryness in the body. So it says, how does one get that? How does that person get this leprosy? He says it's very easy to understand. This is when one Jew speaks negatively about another Jew. That's how that person gets that disease. As a matter of fact, if a Jew hurts another Jew, whether it's physically, monetarily, whether he's diminishing his honor, he's insulting him, whether he's being mean to him, being mean-spirited, or, just the most easiest thing to do between a Jew and another Jew, evil speech, lashon hara. And by doing all that, it causes the other person who's hurting the other Jew to feel elevated. When you embarrass somebody, when you put somebody down, it empowers you a little bit. There's some people that do it in order to feel stronger than the other person, stronger than the other human being. Why? Because you feel elevated by lowering the other individual. And those actions caused the person that did that to get the tzaraat. Now, when you read the Pesukim, it's very interesting. If you don't pay attention closely to the words, you might miss out on it. It says in Pasuk Bet, Adam ki hiye be'or besaro. It says a person, Adam, a human, a person. So you should know that in the Torah, there's 4 different ways to say person. You can say Adam, you can say Ish, you can say Gever, and you can say Enosh. 4 different words that mean man. But when you say the word Adam, that's the highest level that you can say about a Jew. He's an Adam. He's a human being. So over here, when it comes to speaking about a person who contracted this disease of leprosy, why does the Torah call him Adam? Why does the Torah call him the highest level that a person can be called in the Torah? So the reason is to teach us that sometimes when a person is on such a high level, sometimes when a person feels like an Adam, and he feels like he's above everybody, what does he do? He likes to look down on people. He starts to look down on them and starts to say, he looks down on people, starts to judge them, starts to talk about them, starts to insult them. He's on a much higher level. And by doing that, he's sinning. And by doing that, he gets the nega. I'm not talking about something that's happening 3,000 years ago or 2,000 years ago. This is today. Sometimes you get into a group of friends, they hang out a little bit, all of a sudden you see 2 of them, the energy is off, and one guy starts to, in Hebrew it's called litnapeach. He gets a little bit more puffed up, and they start to jab at each other. One guy talks down because of his car, because of his house, because of the business. That's hurting a Jew. If we were in the time of Bet HaMikdash, that person, the next day you see him walking in the street, red lesions on his arm, on his head, on his hair. You're hurting another Jew. However, when a Jew is careful with another Jew, when one Yehudi is very careful with another Yehudi's honor, kavod, respect, that he gives them the proper attention that another Jew deserves, another Jew of Am Yisrael, by respecting them, respecting their feelings, respecting their honor. What you do is you're activating something. By respecting another Jew, you're activating something very, very powerful. The rabbis tell us, when you respect another Jew, the reward is righteous children. Righteous children. Banim tzaddikim. I don't know about you, but to most people, that's high on the list that their children come out good. And they come out good, and not only good, but righteous. Better than us. They want banim tzaddikim. How do you activate it? By giving respect to another Jew. So sometimes when you have children, you're saying, how am I going to teach my child? And I hope he has good teachers. You look everywhere else. The rabbis tell us, you want your child to be a tzaddik, respect another Jew, it's going to happen automatically. Why? Because there's a concept. It says in Sefer Devarim, in the 14th chapter on the first pasuk, it says, but you are children to your father Hashem. In other words, the Jewish people, we are the children of God. And when you respect the children of God, you get something in return. Hashem has another rule that he uses. It's called midah keneged midah, measure for measure. When you respect Hashem's children, he in return gives you respectable children. He gives you children that are honorable. Children that go on the straight and narrow, on the right path. Children that go on Torah and mitzvot. Not only that, he gives them the beracha, the blessing, that they have a beracha beruchaniyut vebegashmiyut. That they'll be blessed spiritually and they'll be blessed monetarily with all the worldly things. Right there and then I stop and I say, I want that, give it to me. I want that. I want that for my children. I want my children to be tzaddikim, and I want them to be successful in their spiritual life and in their mundane life. What's my job as a father? Respect another Jew. That's what activates that power. So when the parasha begins with the pasuk, Isha ki tazri'a v'tolid zachar, that a woman, when she gives birth, and she gives birth to a boy, there's another connection that we can make. How did the woman get to the point to have a child? Here we just said that by respecting another Jew, by avoiding the nega, avoiding hurting another Jew, you merit to have children. Over here we learn something else. This is very, very interesting. I got this from Me'am Loez. He says, when a woman is careful in nidah, you know what's nidah? Family purity. This is the time that the woman has to stay away from her husband for 7 days, and there's another 7-day process. When a woman goes through this procedure of nidah, she merits to have what? A ben zachar for milah. Anyone who's careful with nidah gets the beracha to be merited to have a son from milah. As a matter of fact, Shlomo HaMelech, the smartest man to ever live, in Kohelet says, Ten chelek leshiva v'gam leshmona. You know, Shlomo HaMelech, his psukim are very cryptic. You have to really know what he's talking about. Most of the time, just reading it for face value, you don't understand it. You have to actually have somebody explain it to you, or read the Mefarshim to understand. What does it mean? Ten chelek leshiva, give a portion to the 7, v'gam leshmona, and also to the 8. So the rabbis tell us, whoever is careful with the 7 days of nidah, Hashem will give her the opportunity to bring a baby boy for the 8th day covenant of Brit Milah. Meaning, if you're now careful with nidah for 7 days, your reward is a boy that you're going to bring to Brit Milah in 8 days. That's what Shlomo HaMelech was talking about. But something that is very interesting, you know, we're talking about a baby coming into the world. Did you ever wonder what's the process? Like before the boy gets to that Brit Milah, how does it work? How much do we know about how a neshama comes into the world? This is very interesting. Before we get to that beautiful ceremony where the parents are holding the babies on the pillow, the mohel, the cutting, all the things that we do, it says over there that before Isha ki tazri'a, before the woman gets pregnant, it begins when Hashem asks an angel by the name of Laila. Or in English, you ever heard that name, Layla? It's a common name. It's the name of an angel. This angel named Laila to go to Gan Eden and bring a soul. Bring a soul from over there. And as the neshama gets taken out of Gan Eden, it goes right away to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and starts to complain. It says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I was just right now connected to the divine source. I was in Gan Eden. I was connected to I'm right now in a state where I'm pure. I'm holy. I'm connected to your glory. Why are you taking me away from here? There's no better place for me as a neshama than to be here. Why are you going to go now and put me in a human body? Such a complete opposite. I want to stay here and be holy with you. So Kadosh Baruch Hu answers, there you will be elevated to a much higher level. Over there, not in Gan Eden, here in this world is where that neshama is going to get elevated to a much higher level. How is that? It says not only that, not only are you going to get elevated to a much higher level, but it's your purpose. The purpose of a neshama is not to be on vacation mode in Gan Eden. The reason why there's neshamot in the world, because they have to come into the world and they have a purpose, they have a tikkun. And what is it? Hashem tells that your true purpose is elevating the neshama through the body and through your deeds. In other words, I'm going to take the super holy neshama, I'm going to plant it in a human body, and through the actions, through the deed, Torah, mitzvot, ma'asim tovim, you're going to elevate the body and the soul to a much higher level. And at that particular point, Hashem decides everything for that soul. Everything that will happen, whether it's going to be a boy or a girl, a male or a female, healthy, sick, poor, rich, intelligent, or any mental and physical capabilities that we'll have, everything is decided. Except for one thing. Only one thing is not decided. Whether that neshama is going to be, or that person or that boy is going to be tzaddik or rasha. That's in your hands. In other words, you come here with predetermined rules. This is the life that you've been dealt. This is the cards that you've been dealt. What you do with them is up to you. Hashem leaves us the power to choose. What's the rasha doing? That God that gave you the neshama, that gave you the body, that gave you everything and put you in this world, you can totally say, I don't want to do anything with you. I'm going to be in this world and be a complete wicked person. Don't want to listen to anything you tell me. Okay, that's your choice. Hashem gives you that option. It's unbelievable. The Creator gives you the option not to listen to Him. Or, you could take the exact same neshama, take the exact same body, and make your choices to be a tzaddik. To say, Hashem, this is what you want me to do? That's what I'm going to do. And you should understand that they say, what's harder? A person that is not commanded to do something and he does it, or a person that's commanded to do something and does something. For example, I am a Jew. I have to keep Shabbat. And here's a goy right next to me, and he decides to keep Shabbat. Who should get more credit? The goy that keeps Shabbat and he wasn't commanded, or me that keeps Shabbat and was commanded? Who should get more credit? The Jew. Why? Because he was commanded?
Well,
how about the goy? He doesn't. The goy, why?
He wasn't commanded, he's doing it without.
It's nice, right? He was right. The Jew. You know why? Because as soon as you're commanded something, what happens to you? You have resistance. Right away, I don't want to do it. That's the Yetzirah. You know how hard it is for a Jew to keep Shabbat? The other guy that comes in, he wants it. It's easy for him. I want to do it. As soon as you're being told something, and you can see this in children, you can see this in marriages, you can see this in business partnerships. As soon as you tell somebody, don't do this, right away they want to do it. And the opposite. So we see, to be a tzaddik and to be a rasha, you have to choose it. So everything, the cards that you got dealt, you can change it. You can make it better or you can make it worse. The power is in your hands. Now, when a person is brought into this world and he's handsome and he's rich and he's smart, right? These are all things that were given to him. Hashem gave it to you. As a matter of fact, they say you're not allowed to brag about that. You're not allowed to brag about your beauty. You're not allowed to brag about your richness, about your wealth. You're not allowed to brag about what Hashem has given you. Because Hashem gave it to you. You didn't earn it. You didn't earn that. The only thing that you can brag about is what you earned. What you did on your own. The only thing that you can brag about is the Torah that you learned. The mitzvot that you did. The actions that you took. That's what you can brag about. Everything else, Hashem gave to you. Now, this choosing of whether you're going to be a tzaddik or a rasha, you know, it's one way to understand, because in the when the baby is in the womb, they take him on a tour. They take him to the opening of Gan Eden, and they also take him to the opening of hell. They tell him, here, this is what happens when you're a tzaddik. And then they show him, here's the place where you go when you're a rasha. They show it to him. Furthermore, in the belly, Eliyahu Navi comes and teaches the kid. Teaches the kid Torah, everything. Torah, Rashi, Tosfot, whatever you want. For 9 months, the kid is learning Torah. And then right before they're supposed to give birth, the angel comes, hits the top of the lip like this. That's where we get this little thing from. And he forgets everything. It's ingrained in the subconscious. And during life, you're able to live life and bring it back out. Because all the Torah was already taught to you. That's why you have intuition. That's why you have feelings. That's why you have gut feelings. Something in the back of your mind makes you feel that this is right, this is wrong. Because you were taught all the Torah before. That's what's happening in the belly. Not only that, it's so on a scientific level. It's amazing. How does the baby live in a belly, in water? How do they breathe? How do they go to the bathroom? How do they eat? We know the umbilical cord, but I mean, yeah, we know we know how it works, but it's a miracle. And then in a minute, comes out of the belly, and now it's out, it's in air, it's crying. How does it go from living in this type of environment to that type of environment in split seconds? It's a miracle. We go into the pool, 1 minute, 2 minutes. Who can hold his breath more than that? How does the baby do it for 9 months? It's absolutely incredible how one seed from a human being develops into these million intricate parts of the human body, becomes a person and able to do it again. Ishaki Tazriya, again, another human being. Sometimes you have to stop and say, you know what? Human life is incredible. We take it for granted like, yeah, it's the norm, of course. But sometimes you have to stop to smell the roses, they say. Stop to see what life is really about. However, if you ever prayed Shachrit, Hannah, who was so desperate to have a baby. Remember her story? Hannah, she wanted a baby so bad. She cried to her husband. She cried to the Kohen. And she has a very interesting comment. She says, "En tzur ke'eloheinu." She said, "There's no rock like our God." Why? Because at the end of the day, not her husband helped her, not the Kohen helped her. Nobody was able to help her. Only when she connected straight to God and prayed to Him, she got the baby. She said, "En tzur ke'eloheinu." There's no rock in a person's life like God. But the rabbis tell us, don't read it "En tzur ke'eloheinu." En tzayar ke'eloheinu. There's no artist like God. There's no artist like God. Who can create? Look at our faces. How many different faces in the world? Look at all the trees. Look at everything around you. There's no artist like a Kadosh Baruch Hu, and there's no better specimen of what kind of an artist he is like the human being. Finally, as this baby comes out of the belly, and it's the 8th day, and here he is supposed to get his Brit Milah, and we bring him, the child, to the covenant of Avraham Avinu, the Brit Milah, the 8th day covenant. And the question is, like the pasuk says, "Ubayom hashemini yimol basar orlato," and on the 8th day we have to circumcise him. One question right away: why 8 days? Why 8 days? Why not 4? Why not 1? Why not 52? Why 8 days? What's the meaning of number 8 over here when it comes to bring a baby into Brit Milah? So, several opinions have been given. Basically, in order for the baby to endure this procedure of being cut and bleeding and healing, it needs strength. It needs power. And the baby needs a minimum 8 days in order to get enough power, enough strength to withstand this procedure. That's one thing. As a matter of fact, it's been scientifically proven something miraculous. Have you ever heard of vitamin K? Vitamin K is a special vitamin that the body produces to stop blood clots. Meaning when somebody is bleeding, that vitamin in your body helps it close up faster. Scientific research shows that on the 8th day, the baby gets a huge boost of vitamin K into his body. Exactly on the day of the Brit Milah. How? Why? And Sayake Elohenu, I'm going to tell you, there's no artist like God. It's incredible. They get a huge boost. Why? Because on that day, they need it. So the blood can hold back. The blood can clot. Another reason, they say that the baby needs to have at least one Shabbat. One Shabbat that passes over him. Because the Shabbat, we speak about the Shabbat a lot. Shabbat is a very, very special day. It has a lot of holy powers. And the baby needs to have the Kedusha of Shabbat pass over it. And why does it need to pass over it? Because once the Shabbat passes over the baby has this Kedusha level in it, this holiness level in it, that it becomes to the status of Korban. Right now it's holy like a Korban, the baby. And the fact that right now we're letting blood, that we're cutting and a little bit comes out, it's as if you brought a Korban. The Brit Milah is like as if you brought a Korban. Furthermore, there's a lot of different reasons, but I just want to, and there's another class that we can go right now, make a right turn and go off. The number 8 is a very, very deep secret for Judaism. You know, if you study numbers, the number 6 corresponds to the mundane. Why? It's north, east, south, west, up, down. That's the world. That's the mundane. Number 7 corresponds to the holy. That's 6 days of the week, and the 7th day is Shabbat. It corresponds, anything that has ruchaniyut, anything that has spirituality connected to it, has the number 7 connected to it. We won't go into detail on it. We did some classes on Shabbat, you can see over there. The number 8 is Me'al HaTeva, above nature. The number 8 corresponds to above nature. In other words, the Brit Milah happening on the 8th day is something that is above nature. It's more than we can even begin to comprehend. As a matter of fact, the name of Kadosh Baruch Hu, Yud Kei Vav Kei, what's the numerical value of that name? What's the gematria of Yud Kei Vav Kei? 26. So there's another gematria. It's called gematria Katan. In other words, you can take a number and you can make it more minuscule. So how do you do it? You take 26 and you add the 2 and the 6. What's 2 plus 6? 8. Me'al HaTeva. HaKadosh Baruch Hu Me'al HaTeva, above nature. And this number 8 can be given a whole different class on its own, and we're not going to go into it. However, to crystallize what we're learning over here, can be summarized in a pasuk in Sefer Devarim. Moshe Rabbeinu, when he was leaving the Jewish people, it was time to go, 120 years, he's saying his so long speech to Am Yisrael. He says, Mi ya'aleh lanu hashamayma. Who is going to go up for us in the heavens? He says basically, you might ask, he tells the Jewish people, you might ask when I'm gone, Mi ya'aleh lanu hashamayma. Who's going to go to the heavens for us? Who's like Moshe Rabbeinu? How are we going to do it? Who's going to talk to the angels? Who's going to negotiate with the Kadosh Baruch Hu? Who's going to go 40 days and 40 nights and work out the peace process between us and Hashem after we sin? Mi ya'aleh lanu hashamayma. Who can get to this high level like Moshe Rabbeinu? He tells us, you might think like that. You might think that when I'm gone, you're going to feel that you can't do it on your own. However, you might feel that you cannot reach this holy level. However, the secret is buried in this pasuk. If you take the words, Mi ya'aleh lanu hashamayma, who will go up for us into the heavens, and you take the Rashi Tevot and Sofei Tevot. What's Rashi Tevot? Rashi Tevot are the first letters of each word. Sofei Tevot are the last letters of each word. So if we take the first letter of Mi ya'aleh lanu hashamayma, Mi mem. Ya'aleh Yud, Lanu Lamed, Hashamayma He, Mem Yud Lamed He, Milah. Milah, what's Milah? Brit Milah. Sofei Tevot, Mi Yud, Ya'aleh He, Lanu Vav, Hashamayma He, Yud Kei Vav Kei. He says, you want to go to Yud Kei Vav Kei? You want to go to the Shamayim? You want to get to that super high level? How? Go back to the beginning, Milah. Any person who has that 8th day covenant with the Kadosh Baruch Hu of Brit Milah has the power to go to the Shamayim, to the heavens, like Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu told us, if you are going to have your Brit Milah, and if you are going to keep your Brit Milah, you have the ability to go up to the Shamayim like me and even more. You have the ability to choose to be a tzaddik or to be a rasha. And when you choose to be a tzaddik, there's no limit. And you should know, there's no limit in spirituality. Moshe Rabbeinu showed us how a man can become an angel. He said, Moshe Rabbeinu, Isha Elohim. What's Isha Elohim? At 120, he was half man, half angel. Moshe Rabbeinu. There's no limit. He showed us that. But you can get higher. Moshe Rabbeinu told us, don't look at me. That's what I was able to do with what Hashem gave me. You have the ability, with your choices, to go all the way to the heavens on your own. How? It begins with your Brit Milah. Hashem does predetermine a person's fate. He does. So you could say the game is fixed, right? If a person is poor or rich, healthy or sick, children, no children, marriage, no marriage, it's fixed. Hashem, you did this to me, right? Yes, He did do that to you. He did deal you that cards. But He says, but you can choose. And as you choose, things change. As you choose, things change. As you choose, things change. Things can get better or things can get worse. We learn from here that a person's action can elevate him all the way to the high heavens. How can you get to the high heavens like Moshe Rabbeinu? By choosing the actions of being a tzaddik. And what is it? It's very simple. It starts off with Brit Milah. It continues with Torah, mitzvot, and maasim tovim. And what we learned in the beginning of the class, that if you even want to have a chance to get like that, you have to respect another Jew so you can merit to have a child, that you can merit to have this mitzvah. So we see over here that we have a huge opportunity. I see a bunch of young guys here in the room. You know, children, family, you know, this is, us as Jews, what's the most important thing in our life? Family, family, family. We're all about the kids. So if you really are about the kids, do the work before it's here. Before Ishaki Tazriya, before you go to the rabbi and you tell him, Rabbi, bless me so my wife can have a baby. Bless me so I can be safe. Go to the guy next to you that's eating the falafel and the salad and say, brother, do you need any help? Is everything okay? How can I do it? Can I help you? Not only that, you know what? You look great today. I want to tell you something that maybe can make you happy. Maybe a Dvar Torah. Maybe I have a good story that I heard. You go to a guy, tell him, oh, you know what? I see you're single. Maybe I can put you together with this girl that I met in shul, and I know that she's looking for somebody. You start to act like a Jew. By doing that, Hashem says, you know what? Midah keneged midah. You're respecting my children. You're giving them such honor. Look at the kavod you're giving them. I'm going to give you honorable children. So for all of us in the room that merited to have children already, Be'ezrat Hashem, that they'll be in the ways of Torah, mitzvot, maasim tovim, to the ones that are going to have more children, Be'ezrat Hashem, that you activate ahavat am Yisrael, that you love each other, and you're on automatic mode. When it comes to having a baby, Hashem, I know you're taking care of me. I'm taking care of your children. I'm nice to them. I'm respectful to them. I care about their feelings. I know already, because the way I'm behaving, you're going to take care of me. It takes out a lot of that praying, please help me, please help me, please help me. You don't have to. You can just be good and feel confident that Hashem is going to take care of you. Why? Because the rabbis told us there's a klal, there's a rule. Act like this, you get this. From here we see that it's important to respect every single Jew. It's very important for a woman to be keeping her tehara. Have family purity is very important. And it's also very important that Be'ezrat Hashem we all merit to have righteous children that reach the heavens, and they say, Mi ya'alena nu hashamayma, my child. Be'ezrat Hashem, Hashem vayech otchem, sameach otchem. Shabbat shalom.